spin the throttle, drop the clutch, grab a gear, big old burnout, tormenting tarmac. We're enthusiasts, never die. I'm Ron Morris. That's Jorge Aquino. That's my wife, Rechelle Morris. She's as much of a hood rat as anybody else.
Oh,
God, that was great. Jesus. Drop that needle drop real quick. Good Lord. Oh, sweet God. That was great. No wonder you needed to go ahead and recite that to yourself more than one time in your head, bro. That was terrific.
Glad you liked it.
Ah, that's great. My goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jorge Aquino. That is indeed Ronald Robert Morris III joining me this evening here on Tormenting Tarmac. His lovely wife, Rechelle, the president of the Tormenting Tarmac fan club. You guys take it all the way back to January of 2022. That was the very first time Tormenting Tarmac ever dropped episodes. If you go all the way back, because I know that some people have come in way late and whatnot, you might not know who Ron Morris is. Ron Morris is one of my very best friends in this world, and he is indeed the co-founder of this extraordinary podcast that has continued along, living its own life in the stratosphere, surviving as it may be and whatnot. And Ron and I, this is an idea that, shoot, man, we had like 10 years ago maybe, and it took us forever to go ahead and put into some type of idea.
It took forever for me to finally be like, all right, I'll do it with you.
Yeah,
I wish I would have done it earlier, but
no, it's okay. But you know what? What was going to end up happening anyways ended up happening, and the way that it's transitioned into something very, very cool, where it's allowed us to go ahead and have so much fun, and yet you still be able to go ahead and not get in trouble with the general, like that is ideal in the best way possible, and you love to see it. But we haven't recorded one of these together in little as makes no difference, a little over a year.
Yeah, it was about almost exactly a year ago that
we
recorded
drove the
Caprice back from Arizona.
That's right. That would have been what, like early May?
Yep.
Buster became a gearhead. That's right. That was great. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to your brother-in-law, Aaron. He hung out with us that day. We had a really, really good time. And your pops hopped on that episode too, didn't he?
Did.
Yes, he did. Yep. Shout out to Big Ron, Ron Morris II. Extraordinary individual, that man, who has no disrespect when I say this to you, okay? His 69 Corvette might be slightly nicer than yours.
Slightly?
I wanted to be nice to my boy. He's got a nice,
considerably nicer.
It's considerably nicer.
You could just actually use the word nice for it. You can't on mine, so there you go.
Well, yeah, it's true. But your Corvette.
Also, one runs, one doesn't run, so
don't worry about the details.
True details. It's just minute details, Rechelle. Minute details. By the way, your C3 doesn't run simply because of your own fault, might I add.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Is that fair? Okay. You had it built, and then you said, "I'm going to tear it back down."
Yep.
And then you haven't put it back.
I tore it down. Yes. And then I said, "Actually, I'm going to build a C4 race car first."
Yes. And then you went ahead and bought a Caprice.
Like 3 or 4 years later. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Oh,
the Caprice runs.
The Caprice does run.
Yeah, the Corvette, the C4 is getting close.
Yeah. And then you bought your son a go-kart.
Yeah.
Anything else I'm missing? Anything else that we bought that we shouldn't have bought instead of putting the money into the C3? Even though you should have.
Sure.
No. You should no. Let me be clear. You should have bought the go-kart for your son. That is indeed something you should have done. Indeed, you said no. I fully support this. Oh yeah, you definitely should not have bought a Pontiac Fiero, which you ended up selling to buy this Caprice.
Whoa! You were pretty upset when I sold it.
I was. I finally kind of came to grips with it, and then you decided to sell it, and then you went ahead and bought what I believe to be one of the coolest, if not your coolest, daily driver ever.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
100%, right? Like we're in agreement on that. Okay, cool.
Yes.
But it's great to see you. It's fun to kind of get back to the origins of this OG podcast and whatnot. Additionally, for if you guys haven't listened, again, there's many people that are still relatively new, and you guys are still catching up with the catalog. Rechelle has made guest appearances on the podcast in the past. My goodness, it probably would have been like 3 years ago the last time that she was on the podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, that's right. We compared Kimi Räikkönen to Fernando Alonso.
Oh, yeah. And we learned you don't like popcorn?
Oh, I forgot about
that's
that.
Well, yeah, no, definitely.
Dang.
Popcorn's overrated. So, okay, so check this out.
You
So I'm
still
over
not
at
like popcorn?
Nah, man, it's overrated. I don't like the smell of it. So the other day, I'm recording with a couple of friends of mine. I'm over at their house. Shout out to Kayla Rundle and Sam McKay. And we had some lovely tacos, which Sam cooked up. He texted me earlier that day. He's like, "Hey, you want some tacos?" And I was like,
Always?
yeah,
Right,
please,
that's not
of
a
course.
question.
That's
Yes.
not a question. And so I was like, done, of course. And so we eat some delightful tacos that he made at the house and whatnot. And then Kayla, um, Kayla is hilarious because she's the type of gal that if she feels something in the moment, she will do it. So, case in point, she has one of those like ice cream making machines at her house.
Mhm.
Oh.
So she can make ice cream from scratch essentially. And then
Mhm.
she was like, I think I'm gonna go ahead and make some like churro tasting type ice cream. And I was like,
Yeah, like cinnamon ice cream.
okay,
Yes, please.
sure. And
Fantastic.
as we start to record, she brings out these little tiny bowls of homemade churro type ice cream. And it was like creamy, it was like more soft serve ice cream, but
Oh,
that
yeah.
was delicious. So I ate well on Tuesday night for both dinner as well as dessert. By the way,
Dessert,
that's saying,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, shout out to my wife who always makes a delightful dinner, but like, again, homemade ice cream. I was like, you can't really beat that, and the tacos were on point. And so my point that I was getting at is they brought out they also brought out some popcorn, and they were all eating it, and I did not touch any popcorn. And then after the podcast, they were like, "Do you want some popcorn?" I'm like, I'm good." And they were like, "Do you not like popcorn?" I'm like, not really.
It's just, who doesn't like popcorn?
Well, me apparently, but you know,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's more people out there in the world, Rechelle, that you are not giving enough. That you're not giving enough credit to those individuals who do not like popcorn. Like,
It's fair.
Is there a plurality of individuals, or is it just
I'd have to think there is, bro. I'd have to think there is. Out of 6 billion people on the planet, you think that I'd be the only person who doesn't like popcorn?
Yep. Yep.
I think I
Yep.
bet you there's a big more than like 20% of the population on this planet that doesn't like popcorn. I guarantee it.
Wow.
That's not a researchable fact, but I'm willing to put my monopoly money on it.
I'll square up your bet. Yeah.
Okay,
Of
let's
whatever
do it.
monopoly money is. I don't know how we determine this, but
I don't know. Like, I'm sure that we could go ahead and chat GPT it or something like that. I'm using my phone as obviously the camera right now, so
what
I
if
can't
we
really.
poll? Do you think you'll get enough vote responses on your
Oh,
stories, or is this
Yo,
not
that would be
worth
a good.
stories?
It would be a great idea if Instagram wasn't hiding my freaking stories. But I'll tell you
Oh,
what,
what the heck?
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
it's such an enormous pain because it's like really hit or miss. I like Instagram is
Yeah, when you tagged me in your story today,
yeah,
and I clicked on it, I realized I hadn't seen any of your stories for the past 24 hours, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like
which is
that
insane.
Why? Yes, because you're almost always like the first one when I open my Instagram.
I'm telling you, Instagram is being an enormous pain in my ass. So but I think what I've noticed the key thing is there's two key things. One, I think Instagram quote unquote punishes you when you go ahead and when you go up put up too many stories, which I think is so stupid. What's the point of the story function if you're going to punish someone to share something? One, two, if you do post up a story, it wants you to go ahead and put up like a high quality one as opposed to like just sharing shit, like sharing a post.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but what if I want to share a post? Like, what if I want to share my thoughts on what the potential of the Boxster EV look like or something like that? Or what if I want to tag Ron in a 1996 Silverado, which I could absolutely see him buying and taking Rechelle out on a date?
Yeah,
It was
100%.
such a great shout out to what's their names? Oakland Detail is their names?
Yeah.
Are they based in Michigan? They are, aren't they?
I have no idea, but I've seen this sort of stuff. Rechelle just told me one this morning where they had a '90s Chevy minivan.
Okay, like an Astro,
It's hilarious. Not an Astro. Gosh, I forget what it's called.
What was that?
And like all the just '90s tastic nostalgia.
or is it like a because you have a Chevy Express as your tow vehicle, right?
Yeah, that's a full size van. This
That's a
was a
full
minivan.
size van.
This had the sliding
So,
door on the side.
oh my gosh, what was the name of it, Ron? Oh my God, what was the name of the OG silver Chevy minivan from back in the day? Doesn't it start with like an S?
We're looking.
Why doesn't it say this on here?
She's looking at it, but it
I'm
doesn't.
looking at the post, but I see nothing.
It's the one that had like they partnered up with like Warner Brothers, right? In the luxury edition, and you basically
Yeah, I
got
think
like a
so.
Looney
Yeah,
Tunes DVD player. Oh, what's the name of that
yeah.
van?
The Pontiac version looked like a Dustbuster. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
just
And then they
Illumina
also
APV. Just Illumina
just the
minivan.
Lumina, the Chevy Lumina, and then
I didn't know it was
the
called Illumina. That's
Oldsmobile
weird.
also had. What was the Oldsmobile one?
Let's see.
I know that
Silhouette.
the
Yes.
Oldsmobile Silhouette and the Bravada was the Trailblazer.
Yes.
Yes.
If somebody is listening to this podcast and does not know what a '90s Oldsmobile Silhouette looks like,
Mm-hmm.
it's worth your time to look because it is
It
like
kind of looks
quintessential '90s as you can get. It's
yeah.
so
Well, you know what the
ugly,
funny
it's
thing
freaking
is?
awesome.
The funny thing is, if you really picture it, it kind of looks like the cab of a Japanese bullet train,
Yeah.
right? In a
100%.
way,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
so funny because they're so fucking slow.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but they were so
No,
slow.
that's disrespect.
Yeah.
It's
What was it? It was like a 3.5 liter V6 or something like that.
yeah, I think they might have had a 3800 in it.
A 3800.
horsepower.
Oh yeah, it would have had probably like the
Freaking
Buick,
run
like a Buick
forever
engine.
though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just too funny. But yeah, the silhouette of it, it looked like a
Yeah.
Japanese bullet train
Dude, you're
cabin and
exactly
stuff
right.
like that.
Yeah,
And I
That
found
is
it
definitely a good.
that's so funny. Of all those like 90s into the early 2000s minivans, Ron, what and Rechelle, like what do you guys, because we grew up, Ron and I obviously grew up together and whatnot. Rechelle, I know that you're, I think maybe like a year and a half or a couple of years younger than I am and whatnot, but not by much. Let's see. There you go, everybody. That's what it looks like. It's a Japanese bullet train type cab, which is so funny.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's so slow. It's the complete opposite of what a Japanese bullet train should actually be. But like, if you really think about it, what were some of the vans to you that you not only thought looked the best, but really stick in your mind?
I mean, the Pontiac one is the one that I remember, which, like I said, looks like a little dustbuster vacuum, handheld
Yeah.
vacuum.
Yeah, that's a really good. Yep.
I would agree.
My mom had a Ford minivan. I
Okay.
don't remember it. I was too young. And
Yeah, I was
ran
gonna
her
say
over.
she didn't have that when we were
No.
friends. No, this was way earlier. Okay.
Yes.
This predates me. This predates Jorgito and Ron. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently she was getting groceries and I was in the van and the van started rolling in the driveway and ran her over. Oops.
Oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Morris is going to listen to this. I'm not laughing at you. I promise. That's insane. That's an insane story. I would not have expected that is going to end this way. Oh my God.
Ran over her leg. I think it did kind of hurt it. Didn't break it. So I feel bad for laughing. I'm glad you're all right, Mom. But it's a funny story now.
It is a funny story. Yeah.
Yes.
30 plus years later, we can laugh about it. Then we couldn't.
Yes, exactly.
No,
Could bet.
definitely not.
And I think it was kind of rolling a little bit into the street. I don't know if it was anything crazy. I'm sure my mom screamed, and then my dad comes running out.
So what? Did she accidentally leave it in neutral or something, or did she not put it all the way in park, or what?
I don't know that. We'll have to ask her.
That would be.
It
Please
was
ask
Ron
her.
trying to take her out.
Do you mind if I call her really quick? Put her on speaker?
Yeah, oh my God, I would love
gosh.
that. 4.5 years in, we have never had your mom on this podcast. I would love that. I pray to God she answers. Phone a friend.
Oh boy. Hello.
Hey, you are on Tormenting Tarmac right now. I have a question for you.
Okay.
When I ran you over in the Ford van, can you tell the story? What happened?
ran me over. You were probably 6 months old.
Yeah, so obviously it was my fault.
He was the only one in the car.
I pulled up into the driveway and it had a little slope, and Dad was doing yard work out front, and I wanted to yell something at him, and I thought I put it in park, and I opened up my door, and I'm standing. There was like a little step there, to step into the minivan, and all of a sudden the van starts rolling down that hill, and the door swings and hits me, and I fall, and then it's dragging me, and eventually it rolls over my knee.
Yikes.
Yo, that is way more intense than I originally thought that it was, Mrs. Morris. That's insane.
And then it went across the street, and I'm yelling, "Get Ronald! Ronald's in there! It's in there!" Dad had to go run over there.
Well, I'm glad in the long run you're okay. We're trying not to laugh, but it is funny.
It is funny.
In hindsight.
It's funny now. It wasn't funny then.
I got a little bruising or a little vein on each top and bottom of my knee, but otherwise my knee is fine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane. So it's probably rolling at like 2 miles an hour, if that, 2 or 3 miles an hour, but that's still like a 4,500 pound vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Well, thank you. That was all.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Morris, for hopping on the podcast. We appreciate you. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Wait, Jorge. You guys take care.
Bye.
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 Oh my God, that was incredible. That's insane. That's insane.
Yep.
Dude, so these vans, they were the trans was on the
I would
was on the
imagine,
steering
yeah. A printed,
Yeah.
like
So like, for anybody who's ever
column
driven them and
shifter.
stuff like that, you got to make sure that's, all the way up, especially like early 90s and shit like that. I mean, it's funny now, then terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is why cars today automatically, well, at least GM vehicles, go into park when you open the door if you don't have your
That's
seatbelt.
correct. Yes, the ones that don't have the physical transmission, a physical transmission sticker or something like that. Yes, which is so weird. Like, do they still make cars? Plenty of cars, 2025, 2026 models with the actual shifter on them.
It's actually just a switch under there, though. It's not physically connected to the transmission.
I understand that, but like what I mean by that is like for example, I drove when the Sorrento was in the shop getting its brand new engine after it went kaboom. They let me borrow a Kia K5 from the dealership and whatnot. I physically I had a physical transmission shifter.
Yes.
So I had to actually physically put it in park. Yes. Not every car manufacturer is putting transmission automatic into their automatic transmissions an automatic transmission shifter. Excuse me. I don't.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chevy doesn't have a lot of models that I don't think Chevy has any current models that have an actual shifter, do they?
No, everything is electronic transmission range select.
Yeah, so it's all a button. Yeah.
Even if it is like I'm trying to think of any of our cars that we today. I think of like the Cadillacs that have like a shifter lever on the center console.
Right.
But it still has a park button on top.
Yeah. And I mean, similar, the BMW, like the dual trans, or not the dual clutches, but the OG automatics before the current automatics right now had the parking button right up at the top. So you would go ahead and to put it in drive, very similar to a Toyota Prius, but it was actually in the center. Mm-hmm. You just crank it on over to drive and stuff like that. But like if you were at a stop and then you forgot to put it in park and you open the door, the car automatically goes into park.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is fascinating stuff. We could have used that. Your mom could have used that back in
I was going to say, didn't have that in the 90s.
Definitely not. Okay. So the Pontiac, the one that looks like a dustbuster, obviously the one that ran over your mother's car or your mother's leg. Let me see. I mean, my mom had a 2001 Chrysler Town and Country.
Yeah.
That's kind of an iconic one.
That's what I feel like I remember most.
If someone's mom didn't have that, you had a friend whose mom had one for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
They were everywhere.
For sure. Like, what did your mom drive when you were growing up, Rechelle?
There's a funny story
This
on
is
this
funny.
one.
She drove what? A 1994
Uh-huh.
Pontiac Grand Am
GT.
GT, yes.
Oh shoot, GT.
And man, that car lived forever. She drove it till
They bought it new.
new. She drove it till the wheels fell off twice.
How do
Then
you drive
for a
it till the
period of-
wheels fall off twice? You specified twice. What do you mean by that?
No,
Wheels fell off.
The
Both of
wheels
them back
literally
on?
fell off, or
A wheel fell off.
a wheel fell off once, and then
Her dad fixed
it
it.
was like years later happened again.
Yep.
I mean, mind you, I'm from like such a small area. Like her driving was like 10-mile radius, like
Sure,
very,
yeah.
very rural.
Farm country in Michigan.
Yeah. And then gosh, what happened? My car that I bought when I was 16 and had through most of college died.
Yep.
But my mom's car was still living, so then I took that car.
Yep.
Then we got married and I got a Chrysler 200.
Yep. That was when I worked at Chrysler.
Yep.
Oh,
And then he left Chrysler, so we had to return that.
It was a company car kind of thing.
Yeah.
Completely.
yeah, similar to the RT. Yeah.
And so
I
then
do miss the RT
my mom's
Classic,
car
by the way.
again. Drove that again for a few years.
Yeah.
That thing like would not die.
It was a family car. Everybody in the family drove it.
Yeah, it was always like we always fell
Yes.
back on that car.
Yes.
But my aunt, who lived right next door to us, so she was always carting us. She had the Chrysler Town and Country, and
Okay.
like plenty.
Do you want to tell them about the?
Oh yes. So my mom's car. So like I drove that car. My mom always had it. We were together, I think, for like almost 10 years at one point, and we were going to a restaurant to meet his grandma.
Yep, in Flint.
And he calls and tells her like, okay, well, we'll be in this Pontiac Grand Am. It's red. And I looked at him and I was like, ha ha. And he's like, it's not red. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. For 10 years, this man thought this car was red, and it was forest green.
Mind you, a reminder to anybody who's a listener of this podcast, Ronald Robert Morris III is indeed colorblind.
Yes. And this was
that's true. That being said, bruh, what the actual fuck? You've been together for 10 years at this point. And you thought what? I mean, I'm assuming you guys are married at this particular junction.
Yeah, we are.
You think that your wife's car, who she was your fiance and your girlfriend for like 4 years prior to all that, you thought her red Grand Am her green Grand Am was fucking red.
That's correct.
God bless you, Ron. Never change.
Realize you don't talk about just your daily driver car colors until apparently you're calling your grandma and telling her to look for the wrong car.
That's too funny, man. Yo, Ron, like serious question, bro. Like, do you remember all the fun colors of your cars, man? I think I do.
Well, I know what the actual paint name of them was, so that's how I would know. But
okay, yeah, that doesn't count.
yeah.
Okay, so the Cutlass was white, right?
Yep.
Like a creamy white, like almost ivory.
Yeah. Do you remember the GMC truck that I briefly? I mean, it was my dad and I's like tow vehicle for the go-kart.
That one I don't remember. I don't think I don't think I saw it too often.
I didn't drive it all. Drove it a couple times. It was a stick shift.
Okay.
That was like the 90s tealish, turquoise-ish color, I think.
Oh, okay. It was like it was a Silverado 3500 or 2500?
It was the Sierra 1500.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, it was clapped out, but it's like 300,000 miles. And base, which is nothing for those things. But
yeah. Okay. The Corvette, the C4, that was silver.
Sebring silver. Yeah.
Sebring silver to be specific. And then let me see. The Chally was that silver? Silver with the stripe?
Blue. It was blue with
it was blue. It was blue with the RT stripes on the side because it was a classic. Yeah.
As close as to a Grand Sport paint scheme as I can get,
Yep.
and it was
Yeah,
accepted.
I was
But
so
that's not
happy
worth the
yet.
price,
So,
though.
dude, listen, I've been jealous of you before. I've never been more jealous than when you had the RT Classic.
Oh, what?
That might be the most jealous I've ever been of you.
It was a fun car, but I mean,
I mean, it's still a
It was a
boat, but
boat.
like,
it was a
It was
boat.
a
yeah,
Yeah,
boat.
yeah,
it wasn't a sports car.
yeah.
To
It
say
was definitely not a sports car. And then obviously the 69 is Le Mans Blue, very extremely horrendously faded 69 Le
Yeah,
Mans
it's
Blue.
not too faded, but it's not that car was originally, oh
That
shoot.
was
69
that
was a
red?
Fathom green. No, it was originally dark green.
Oh, okay. Are you sure it was
Maybe I
actually
would have
green
thought it
and you're
looked
not
like
actually
red,
making that
but
up?
the paint code was dark green. I think it's
Yeah,
Fathom
you
green.
can
I don't
see
think a
in
green
the
Okay.
on the road.
door.
Yeah.
In the door.
And
Yeah.
somebody repainted it to be like Le Mans Blue, but it's got like bass boat flake in it.
Oh, no
It's
kidding.
very
Okay.
70s disco. Yeah. But the paint's not in the best shape. It's not super faded, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you skipped the Sonic, which
Sonic
was
was red.
somewhat white. Oh yeah, I had a Jeep
Wait.
Cherokee that
Was the
was
Sonic white or was the Sonic red?
it was white.
White.
Somewhat white.
White. Okay.
Oh, that's it. I had a Jeep Cherokee that was black. I
Yes.
Which
had
that left me stranded on the side of the road
yeah.
on our wedding day.
Yeah. Oh, his face was so good. Yep.
Why would you let your bride drive a car that had the potential of being broken down on the side of the road?
Well, any car that she would have driven of mine at the time would have had that potential. So
Yeah, that was gosh,
Oh,
I
that's
had
right. This is
to
I don't think we had a
pre-Challenger.
Challenger yet. No,
Yeah. Because you were already at FCA, but you hadn't bought that car yet.
correct.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep. And I had to
a
call my
rental would have
dad
been.
and
Uh-huh.
my father-in-law. And I was like, because I was pretty close. I was driving it because I had a lot of the decorations for the wedding, and I was
Sure.
almost to the venue. And I had to call them, and I was like, hey, someone's got to come get me. I remember them coming to the side of the road, and they're trying to check it out, diagnose it, see if they can quick put it back together. And they're like, nope, we're just gonna have to load all this stuff
Did they ever
into
determine what the
this
issue
other
was that
truck.
caused it to break down on the side of the road?
It was dead.
It
Never ran after
those
that.
Jeeps are notorious for the heater core getting rusty and it clogs. So the coolant had built up pressure, nowhere to go, and it blew a heater hose line, and then blew coolant everywhere and overheated.
That
So
sucks.
completely seized the engine. Yep.
Yeah, and mind you, this is a September day in Detroit.
Yes. Yep.
That's
Super.
fantastic. My
It
goodness
was great.
gracious.
It was
I am
such a good setting for like, yes, this is exactly what I am marrying into. I fully know what this is. And that's why I'm
Oh,
like,
buddy.
nothing surprises me
Yep.
because that happened on our wedding day. Like,
that's
set the tone.
just too
Very
funny.
normal.
Oh my God. You hate to see it, but my goodness gracious, to hear stories like that are very heartwarming. And thank God she likes you, bro. Thank God.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Okay. So the Grand Cherokee was black. Obviously, the
I had a
challenge.
Saturn. I had a Saturn SL in
Oh
college as my winter
my
beater.
gosh.
That was
Uh-huh.
white. Called it the Saturn Rocket.
It had no floor. The floor was all rusted out, just a hole.
Yep. And then I had another Jeep Cherokee stick shift that was, oh, that was green? What color is
That
that?
was
Yeah,
green,
okay.
yeah.
Man, I had a moment of like, oh shit, I don't know if I know what color that car was.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the Fiero was white. The
Fiero was
Caprice is
white.
black. The C4 is green, but I will be wrapping it. So
Sure.
it's not.
And then there's also the donor C4 that you bought on top of that to take out the engine. That one was white. That one
Correct.
was white, right?
Technically,
Okay.
I now also own a shell of a C4 that is red.
Which is not the other Corvette. This is another
Nope,
C4 that you bought.
just another C4.
This is
For
what is this, a parts car?
Yeah.
The van.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, that's right.
3500
Van's
one ton
black.
express van, the dork bus. No, that's blue, dark blue.
Oh, it's dark
Yeah.
blue. Excuse me. It's dark blue. Okay.
And then Rochelle's
Uh,
Buick Tourex is
yes.
white,
True.
and it's three coat or tri. Shoot, what do they call it? tri-tint. I forget. Shame on me for not knowing.
It's the nice version of white,
Yes.
even though it's just
It's
a
like
straight
a
up white station wagon.
Still just white.
It's metallic white, and it has like it's not pearlescent, but it has a kind of a multi-layer look to it. Man, it's hard to describe, but
That's fair.
Yeah.
What else are we missing? No,
Feels
that's
like
it.
we're
We got them all, right?
forgetting something. No, I think that's it.
That's gotta be.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not enough. We need more.
We're working on it.
Ironically, the C3 is the only car that I've ever bought that was the color that I wanted. I guess
Valid.
the van technically was, I would have wanted a blue van, but I didn't necessarily want a white Sonic, but I was okay with that. We didn't actually necessarily want a white Tourex, but we were okay with that. The silver C4 I did not want, that color specifically, but like all of these cars had a way of finding.
Couldn't really complain on the silver C4, bro. That was your parents going ahead and hooking it up there, buddy. So you kind of had to go ahead and be like, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
That may have been the coolest Christmas present of all time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I bought it through the bank of dad, if you will, but yes.
But yes. Right. Yeah. So. But because you couldn't buy it from the bank of anybody, like you couldn't buy it.
Yeah.
Through the
no.
Yeah.
Big time credit. I'm very, very thankful to my parents for making that a possibility for me.
That's that. Okay.
Oh.
I feel like we need a little bit more color in your car collection, there, buddy.
I don't necessarily disagree. Well, I think you'll like the C4 when I'm done with it. I'm not going to tell you how it's going to work.
Okay, that's totally fair. Don't tell me. I want to go ahead and be surprised. I want to be surprised. I'm totally fine. But I want to
find Rechelle a Camaro Turbo 1LE, and I'd like to find one in yellow or orange. Yeah,
like as as her weekend car to go with the Tourex, or are we gonna? Oh, okay, cool. Because I was gonna say I don't think the kids are gonna fit in the back of the Camaro.
No, well, I mean it would, but it
would be tight.
Occasional fun rides, but yeah, like
sure, yeah. Okay, hold on.
Now, that would be her track day car. So,
okay, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Turbo 1LE, I'm 100% okay with, 100%. I even like the Turbo 4. Like the Turbo 4 is cool. That being said, it's funny enough, I was looking at prices the other day for 6 gens, and yes, this would obviously be a 6 gen. I don't think and I'd have to go ahead and look at deeply research this because I'm a journalist, goddammit. What's the price difference between a Turbo 1LE and just jumping up to an SS? What are we talking here? Like what? Maybe 10 G's?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Because Rechelle, I want a Camaro for you so bad, baby girl. But like if we can just go up to an LT1.
Well, so here's the thing, because she would like to go to the track days with it. And the Turbo 1LE is like one of I would argue it is the best beginner track day car anybody could buy. More than a Miata. I really think so.
It's up there. Yes, I would agree.
Yes.
It and the Miata are two very different cars. Yeah, but they both are very good in their own ways. Yes.
Yeah. They're lower power to weight, 4-cylinder coupes.
Yes.
Obviously the Camaro's, bigger, but
regardless, power to weight ratio, they're pretty close.
Yeah. I think the Camaro's a little faster still, but anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just an easy, forgiving car to drive. The LT1 Camaro, like LT1 trim, wasn't like a track capable rated car. You could maybe turn it into it, but it didn't have like the big track brakes and things like that.
Right. Yeah. 1LE is going to cost you an absolute arm and a leg.
Yes. But and we just went through the stories of the absolute, dumpster fires that I tend to own.
This would actually be a really nice car.
Yes, I'm going to get her a track car. I need to be simple and just work. And the Turbo 1LE is freaking perfect for that.
Okay, but again, once more, I go back to an SS Camaro with I said LT1, meaning as in the 6.2 liter LT1, but I realized that Camaro in 6th gen got the LT2, which is The exact same thing as an LT1, but a
So
little
when you
bit.
were looking at SSs, what were they going for?
SSs are somewhere at the very least high 30s, where if I'm not mistaken, a turbo 1LE is very low 30s.
No, they were like in the teens.
You're lying.
Nope.
What year?
2009,
16?
19, 18 was the first
19?
year,
And 8.
something like that.
Oh, for the turbo. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. Hold on.
Yeah.
Teens for a turbo 1LE. Bring it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Bring
sure.
it up. Let me see this.
Let's see.
I'm not. I believe you, but like at the same time. And how many miles?
I want to say the car that I was looking at was like 70 miles.
Okay.
70,000.
Okay.
All right, give me a moment here.
Miles.
The old Auto Trader is spooling up.
Okay.
Let's see. Transmission, manual.
I feel like you could get like a 2016 SS, like relatively low trim, like higher mileage, like around what you just described. You could probably get it somewhere in the low 30s, like a 2016 or 17.
Scrolling. Sorry, no, the silence isn't great. Okay, here's one.
Okay.
Let me confirm before I tell you.
Okay.
It's white.
Okay.
Just want to make sure it is what I think it is. It has the black hood, which would make me think it's
1LE. Yeah. By the way, you said this is Auto Trader?
Yeah. Well, if
anybody
is,
from Auto Trader, if you're listening to this podcast, I will use you exclusively if you sponsor Tormenting Tarmac. Please carry on.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Well, if this one is a 1LE, it is $16,995 for a 2019.
And is this a 6-speed manual or is this an 10-speed auto?
Oh man, doesn't want to load.
It's struggling.
Okay.
Anyway, I recall finding some in the high teens.
I'm somewhat inclined to believe you. I'm inclined to believe you.
Yeah, you did.
There's one in Florida. Yeah. I was like, let's go get it. And
now my understanding is if you could avoid buying cars in Florida, that you shouldn't buy cars in Florida. Or do you not look? Okay, I was gonna say, do you not live under that motto? Okay, just checking.
Okay, this one's loading.
Okay.
So it's orange.
While you do that, why don't I bring up to Rechelle? Rechelle, so we're talking 6 gens, which is fantastic. What about like
1LE
what about mid 5th gens with high miles with the V8?
Yeah, I mean, so I am not out here like I like and appreciate cars. I don't have like this is what I want. I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
So Ron likes to take that on and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you this car." I don't have a huge
that's like, totally fine.
I mean, I do want to stay within GM because that just feels like what our family is.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair because I brought up to him. I brought up to Ron an E46 like a year ago for you, and he said that you liked it, and I was like, you should do it. And then Ron immediately put on his General Motors cap and basically shushed me, and I was like, you did. Because an E46 would be perfect for you.
It doesn't feel like it goes with the family. The rest of the families, it just doesn't.
I get it.
Stick with what we stick with.
Which is totally fair. But so that brings me back to a Camaro. And the only reason why I'm saying what the difference is between going with the Turbo 4 and a V8 in terms of pricing is I personally believe, obviously, yes, is the LS3 in a 5th gen or an LT2 and a 6th gen fast? Of course it is, like real fast. But I feel in particular the Alpha platform, and I can go ahead and have this conversation with my best friend because he would know the Alpha platform is one of the best American platforms ever made, period, bar none. right? And
100%.
so if there was
Yeah.
ever a car that you would want to feel your wife comfortable driving in, regardless of how much of a rocket of an engine that might be in there, it's a very stable car, very well balanced. The suspension is really well sorted coming out of Detroit. I personally feel that it's a better suspension setup that comes from in the Mustang. Shout out to anybody who's got an S550, but I feel a Camaro is better sorted from factory in regular two trims. And, comparing a Mustang GT to a Camaro SS, to me, a 6th-gen Camaro is better set up from factory for driving spiritedly or on track than a Mustang from S550 generation. I'll die on that hill. I'm just saying that. So I don't, well, there's no influence here. But I think that a 455 horsepower car sounds like a lot because it's so well balanced. It wouldn't be the worst beginner's car for your wife, especially since she's driven the fast shit with you anyway. So like,
Yeah,
she's a beginner, but without being a beginner. Does that
I
make
will
sense?
say I
It
didn't.
is.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that 5th-gen SSs were a similar price to that. So
Yeah, dude, 5th gens went up, dude. That was the thing that I was having that conversation with Kayla and with Sam last Tuesday. Because Kayla has a really rad 2013 SS, like ridiculously built. Now it's got essentially you call it a 416 cubic inch V8 in there, based off the LS3 that came with it. But she basically built this thing. It's an absolute monster. It rips. She was telling me like, Jorge, I looked this up and like Camaros in the last Camaro 5th gen Camaros SSs have gone up like 25% over the last like year. I was like, yeah, that's what happens when GM stops making it from 23. And then on top of that, every kid who has now grown up and is in their early to mid 20s who grew up on Bumblebee has a little bit of cash, wants to go ahead and buy a 5th-gen Camaro. That's what we ran into. Yeah. It's what happens. I can't believe that movie's 19 years old this month, next month, which is insane. But so it going up that high of a percentage doesn't surprise me. 6th-gens never stopped holding because it was the last year in 2023. So what's the best car to buy as a Camaro right now? I keep going to maybe like early 4th-gen Catfish. It would have, I would say 97 or 94 to 97, because I think 98 to 02s are starting to go up because those are the better ones because they got the LS1. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, based on the SSs that I just looked at, I would still might say the 5th-gen SS is the sweet spot for price. If you're actually meaningfully going to track the car, do track days, I think you owe it to yourself to get into a 6th-gen. And if that means a Turbo 1 LE, that's okay. If you want
he's telling himself that because he wants to buy you a Turbo 1 LE. That's what it is, Rechelle.
If you want a street cruiser, you want a stick shift and a V8 and still a well-sorted chassis, then the 5th-gen is where it's at for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say 14 to 15, or would you say 12 and 13? Or would you say first couple of years, 2010 and 11?
I like the facelift. I like the 14.
I do too, especially the rear end. The rear end looks, I always liked the rear end. The front end, it's got a little bit squintier, if you will. Like the headlights are slightly squintier and whatnot, but it's still got the look like, and to me, the 12 and the 13 is where it's at because I actually like the interior a lot better. I personally like the steering wheel on the 12s and the 13s because it looks better than the first 2 years. Because what was it? They've kind of changed up the design of the interior slightly, but they gave it a new steering wheel, and the new steering wheel from 13 all the way to the 15 looks way better than the first one. And then, but if it was me, I would just say screw it all. And if you can go ahead and get a 5th-gen 1 LE, that's the way to go because you don't have to pay astronomical ZL1 prices. and then you still get the look of a ZL1, but in a 1LE.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Really, peak is 5th gen Z28 with the S7.
Oh, duh.
Like those are
Duh.
like a freaking $1 trillion now.
You know what the funny thing was? They dropped for a long time.
Yeah, and
there was a time where you could go ahead and get them in the
Why
like
did
the
we
low
not
40s.
make irresponsible financial choices?
Dude, I don't know. It makes me so mad because now they're creeping back up into like the mid to high 60s, and it's pissing me off. Because like MSRP wise, wasn't that car like 75 grand?
Yeah.
It was like 75 grand.
It's crazy. It's like a CTSV wagon.
Yeah, we were having that conversation on the phone earlier. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. But well, that's the question. I guess that actually begs the question. If you had the option and you had the funds, Ron, and then I'll go to Rechelle. You have, call it 90 grand, right? You got 90 grand and you've been presented a relatively well-driven but nice example of a CTSV wagon with a 6-speed, or you have a Camaro Z28 5th gen. What are you going for?
The Z28.
Okay. Rechelle?
Yeah. I think I'm going wagon just because I drive.
Because you own a wagon?
Yeah.
It's
like once you get into the wagon lifestyle, you're just like, this is it. There is nothing else. I didn't know I liked wagons until I had a wagon.
That's how everybody thinks.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't know I loved this until I knew that it existed. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. That's too good. It's an interesting time. That's for sure. Like, so, but you know what? For anybody, listen, and I'm talking to myself really when I say this. So self, listen up. Everybody oh, by the way, before I even complain about what I want to complain about, Ron, I found the answer to the question that we were looking up earlier this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
I did. Right. And it's way cheaper than we thought it was, bro. Way cheaper.
Well, there we go.
So I was happy, but it was also a high mileage example. So I'll get to it in a second. So earlier today, Ron and I are chatting, making sure that we're doing the podcast tonight. And then Rechelle's in the background. I was like, Rechelle, you going to hop on with us? And she was like, I don't know. I guess. It's like, well, I guess means yes. So here we are. And so I don't know how we got into I know, because I was telling you about used prices on quad cab SRT10 Rams, which, for anybody that needs to know, if anybody needs to know the fact that SRT10 quad cab Rams are under 40 grand, you need to hop on them right now. And mind you, I looked at the cars and bids prices from 2025, Ron. There were examples selling under 20, and I almost crashed out. Dude, I was so mad. I was like, why didn't I see this?
And I'm like, you could basically, I don't think you could sell a Viper engine for quite that, but like that powertrain alone is almost worth that.
Homie, I will sell the Sorrento tomorrow and I will buy an SRT10 Ram. I don't care. I will do it 100%. And I'll drive it till the wheels fall off. Multiple times.
Twice.
Is it going to be a green-red truck?
Yeah. I would buy it black. I would buy it in black. Yes. Which to Ron would be like, oh, Jorge, is that a yellow truck? Sure it is, buddy. So we're having this conversation and whatnot. And so back in the day when Natalie and I just gotten married and whatnot, I at the time really liked and still do. I've always liked fast SUVs. Still love them to this day. I know a lot of sports car enthusiasts hate them. I love a good fast SUV and I love a good fast truck. I love street trucks. That's why I'm a huge fan of the Rumblebee coming back. I've been a fan of Silverado SS's, both generations, SVT Lightning. Obviously, I think the SRT10 Ram is the coolest truck ever made. You know, fast trucks are okay with me. And so fast SUVs is the same thing. And so back, this would have been like 2014, 2015. I was trying to convince Natalie and be like, hey, Natalie, what if I bought a Trailblazer SS? It's a family car. Yeah. We haven't started a family, but maybe we do. Ayo. And so they're relatively inexpensive-ish. And I think the one that I was looking at was like maybe 14 grand, which at the time was just outside of my budget. And I remember telling Ron, I was like, Ron, I'm going to go ahead and test drive this Trailblazer SS. He's like, or you're going to love it. And I'm like, I know. You don't have to tell me. For those of you who do not know what makes these, because you might be hearing Jorge talk about a Trailblazer and think that's the dumbest fucking vehicle on earth. Not when it has an LS2 in it. So, which it does. And it's not just a GM 6-liter and whatnot. No. It's straight up
an actual LS2.
It's a detuned GTO / C6 Corvette LS2 with a 4-speed automatic.
They had like upgraded suspension and bigger brakes.
Yep. It was the Grand Cherokee SRT before the Grand Cherokee SRT8.
They were
literally came out 1 year before.
Legitimate like performance SUV.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, first year of the Trailblazer SS was 2006, and the Grand Cherokee SRT8 came out in 07 or 08. And so Chevy beat Dodge to it beat Jeep to it by that much. But to be fair, SRT already had other stuff coming out, whatever. Ram was already a thing and whatever. But my point is, I wanted to go ahead and buy this Trailblazer SS. And I didn't, unfortunately, but I drove it, smitten by it. I think they're still fucking so cool and whatnot. By the way, I love also a Grand Cherokee SRT8. I think they're all very, very cool. So I'm telling Ron that, I'm still smitten. And then Ron brings up, like, Jorge, do you remember the Saab 97X Aero? And I was like, what the hell is that? And he's like, well, it's the Trailblazer SS, but it's the Saab model. So it's consider it like the Urus and an RSQ8. It's literally the exact same freaking thing, And I was like, holy hell, I totally completely forgot about this. And Ron and I were like, weren't those pretty rare? And then again, this is according to Google AI. According to Google AI, they made a total of 600. Yes, there you go. That is a Saab 97X Aero. And to be fair, I think the wheels look better on it than they do on the Trailblazer SS. Yeah. And honestly, the front end actually looks better than the Trailblazer SS.
It's definitely a more sleek, luxurious
thing. Because the problem with the Trailblazer SS is the front end still, even though it had a couple fog lights that made it look a little bit more aggressive, it still looked too close to a regular Trailblazer until you looked in the back and you saw SS and you saw the 20-inch spoke wheels or whatever. 6-spoke wheels, and it was 20 inches or whatever it was. And then you turn on the car and you're like, oh shit. That's what that sounds like. And so, Ron, remind me, was it 600 examples that they made of the?
I think that's what you told me. Yes, they only made 600 of them.
Now, I don't know if that was the entire.
I've only seen one in person.
Okay, cool. Because for how long did they make the 97X Aero?
It says. I want to get this right.
I think they only made it for 1 year, where the Trailblazer SS was 06 to 09.
Yeah, I think it's only 2009.
Okay, so it being 600
sold Saab in bankruptcy.
During the horrendous economic crisis that the three of us grew up in, which, oh my god, what a time to be alive. So 600 examples of that particular truck. That means that thing is fucking rare.
Yeah, it's like a unicorn.
That is really rare, and I decided to go ahead and look to see if there was any for sale. The market on a 97X Aero is extremely slim.
Yeah, 2008, 2009, estimated 554 total vehicles.
That's insanely rare. They made more
with the freaking Corvette engine.
Let's go. That's actually rarer than an F87 BMW M2 CS. Yeah, that's a true story. That's true. Yes.
And that's how you know when you're a car nerd. Maybe I'll say the word car dork. If you see that BMW roll by, like to the right, and you see the Saab roll by to the left, and you snap your neck to the left, like, oh my god, Saab 97X Aero.
Which is insane. And mind you, please don't get confused with the 97X, because the 97X, they are a dime a dozen.
Yeah. That's the 5.3, which are still awesome. It's like
still cool. Still cool. You're absolutely right.
Still a freaking Saab with the V8.
Just like what? Not as cool. It's not as cool as the Aero. Yes. Correct. Okay, so I went ahead and I told you that I found one that sold in Kissimmee, Florida last year in January at the Mecum auction for 2025. And I was struggling really hard to go ahead and be able to find the sale price. So I get in contact with my buddy Michael Zimmerman. Shout out to him. Works over at Sotheby Motorsports. Shout out to him. Shout out to Selmo. Shout out to Samantha Zimmerman, his lovely wife, who's an amazing automotive hyperrealism artist. She's the tits and a half. And so I'm like, yo, Michael, if I wanted to go ahead and look up the sale result on a Mecum auction, what should I do? And he's like, you take the VIN, copy it, and then you go ahead and do what I need to do. I'll tell you offline later. And I was like, oh, that sounds brilliant. I look it up. Ron, I found the details. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
This is in January of 2025. This particular Saab 97X Aero had 148,000 miles on it. So it was a high mileage example. Okay? Let's play a game where Ron and Rechelle take a take a guess as to where this number could be. I'll tell you what, I'll give Ron some time to think. Rechelle, why don't we get started with you? What do you think this number sold for? This truck sold for?
No idea.
Because the market doesn't exist, so you don't know, right? Yeah.
No.
Just take a stab in the dark. It's 600 examples, right? 554. But mind you, this truck was a little bit higher, quite a bit higher mileage. So try and just take a stab in the dark.
I honestly, any number is going to be too high. Like, I am happy someone got this car and that they love it, but also,
oh man, shots fired.
like,
I'm gonna say nobody there knew what the heck they were looking at, and someone freaking stole it for $18,000.
Okay, so you're saying 18 grand. Rechelle, what are you picking?
No way. That's way too low. I mean, I hope it's that low. All right, I'm gonna say, you think 18 grand? It's gotta be.
The mileage is the part I don't know about.
Yeah, but if you're someone like Jorge who's like this,
it's a freaking LS2 Saab. What the hell?
Like,
which, mind you, I completely forgot about this car up until he brought it up to me earlier today. But I've always loved a Trailblazer SS.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, I have a number as to what I would pay on a Trailblazer SS.
Okay. I think it's going to be ridiculously high. I'm going to say 60.
Okay. So Rechelle brought up a very excellent point saying, there's no way that you would think that somebody would pay that low. You're right, because they paid lower.
What?
No.
Dude, when I fucking tell you that truck, you're absolutely right, Ron. Nobody knew what it was because it rolled across the block. According to the website, according to classic.com, when I was able to go ahead and bring it up with the right VIN, I kid you not, $9,600.
No way. That's insane.
Jorge, I'm so sorry. That's painful. Like, that could have been yours.
For a fact.
I don't want to crash out.
For a fact, nobody at the auction knew what that was. They're like, oh, this is just
for a fact, not a single person knew except for whoever was trying to sell it.
Maybe they thought it had a 5.3, and then there's the one guy who Googled it and was like, eyes popping out of his head, and it's like, don't
panic, don't panic.
Bro, whoever bought that truck, you rule. Now, granted, it could have been a piece of work.
High miles. Yeah.
High miles, 147,000. That's a lot on an LS2, whatever way you want to slice it, even though
what do you think, and to be fair, SS would sell for at that mileage?
Not too far higher.
Yeah,
not
probably
too far. I would say under 15 grand. I'd give it like 12. I don't know what the market is on them right now, but I'd say like if with 150,000 miles on a Trailblazer SS,
you would
I'd call it 12 or 13.
Rare stock would command a premium. So I feel not too bad. Yeah. Dang.
Because I'll tell you this, Grand Cherokee SRT8s hold better value than a Trailblazer SS.
I do feel like if a low mileage one came up on my Cars and Bids where the internet,
it'd probably go for like 30.
That's when off to the races.
That's what I'm
someone's gonna want the unicorn.
Yeah, so price. I guess for any enthusiast of like early to mid 2000s fast SUVs, and you think that a Grand Cherokee SRT8 is too expensive, because it more than likely is, you need to be looking at Trailblazer SSs.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you by any chance come across a Saab 97X Aero, the market is non-existent. So you can
Talk about an
really go
SUV
ahead
that
and
would
just
freaking
say
hurt
whatever you
feelings on
want.
the
Like, I'll
street,
give
man.
you 5 Gs. And then they might be like, I guess. And you're like, I just scored the deal of a lifetime. So
Yeah, talk about an SUV that would hurt feelings, man. People be like, "What is this
dude,
Swedish grandpa doing out here?" And then just
bro, I'm telling you,
demolishes
like
people.
the mid 2000s, I don't think that people realize that, because when we think of the mid 2000s, everybody thinks of like the fun, like supercars that you and the three of us grew up with, like you have your,
Yeah.
Ferrari F430s, you have all these 911s, like there was great C6s in the mid 2000s, obviously. Like I think Z06 came out 06, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And whatnot. So like we had a really, really, really good time, but like there was this like sector of a year from like '04 to like 2010 where like there was some dope American hot rod stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I mean, 2004 GTOs still A-okay in
Yeah.
my book. 05,
That's a good point.
06s are better because obviously they get the LS2 as opposed to the LS1. Obviously, you had your my favorite Mustang of all time is a Terminator Cobra 03, 04.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, 05 to 09
Remember the Magnum?
S197 Mustangs, or oh my
Oh,
god, the
yeah,
freaking Dodge
yeah.
Magnum.
Yeah.
What was the first year of the Dodge Charger? That was 06, right?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
It was, I think it was 06, and I think, if memory serves me right, Dodge did something funny and they released the SRT8 first before they released all the
I
other
think you're
models.
right, which is
You're
actually
right?
awesome.
And I was like, yo, that's
That's the way to
crazy.
do it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
So
then
like there was
it's front wheel drive, unfortunately, but the Impala SS and the
oh yeah.
Grand Prix GXP that had the V8s,
Oh
the
yeah, the
LS
Grand Prix
V8s.
GXP, I preferred that to the Impala any
Yeah,
day.
totally agree. 100%.
100%. I also preferred a Bonneville to a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
They stopped making that before they put the V8s in it, but those had the supercharged V6 in the
Yeah.
Bonneville GXP. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend in college that had one.
I think I test drove a Bonneville before Natalie and I ended up buying our first car together, which was a Toyota Camry, which ended up being an enormous piece of shit. But
Oh.
that car ended up being such a hunker of a car. We had it for 7 months, and then we decided to go ahead and buy our first brand new car together, which was at the time 2014 Sentra, which I ended up having for 4 years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then is that when you switched to the Focus?
That's when I got the Focus ST. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which honestly, in hindsight, I should have just kept the Sentra and paid it off, because I was really close to paying it off instead of rolling over the negative difference into the ST. But you live and you learn.
Yeah.
But that was a stupid decision. Even though I've talked about it countless times. Me and that Focus had a love-hate relationship. It was, yeah. It was, it's just, I mean, here's what happened. And I've said this multiple times. The Focus ST is cool, but I wanted the Focus RS, and I could not afford a Focus RS. And I went with that instead. And what I've come to learn is, when you want something and then you buy another car to say, oh, this is a little bit closer to it, so I'll go with that, that's not always going to be the answer. So to anybody that wants to buy a Corvette, that you buy a lesser trim of a Corvette instead of the trim that you do want, get the one that you do want, because you'll be happier in the long run. Trust. That's God honest truth.
Saving a little bit, then so be it.
Save a little bit. Yep. And to be fair, this was not one of those saving a little bit. I mean, when the freaking Focus RS came out, it was like a $40,000 car. And yeah, my Focus ST was 15 grand. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Huge difference there.
Huge difference. And so, yeah, like, it's the same thing. Like, people tell me, like, why don't I get a BMW M2 competition? It's like, I like an M2 competition, but I love the M2 CS, and I'd rather get that. That's just my personal preference, like, So that's car market for you. That's so. What should we be doing right now? Buying a Ram SRT 10. The answer. That is the answer to everything, to all of our problems. That's the answer to the world's problems, Ron and Rechelle.
Oh,
You
is
know?
it?
I mean, I think Ron
Yeah.
does believe just buy another car and it'll
Yeah.
solve his problems.
True.
If I actually end up buying the car that I want, all of a sudden the world will rectify itself, and the Strait of Hormuz will probably go ahead and stay open for the entire time that it
There
should
you
stay
go.
open. Hey yo.
There-
Okay,
you would
so
need it if you bought a freaking Ram SRT.
yeah, I would. That's a good one, Ron. That's good.
11 miles per gallon or whatever they are.
Okay, guys, I really need you to open up the Strait so I can afford gas on an SRT 10 Ram. That's really the only reason why I want it open, right? Can we talk about something really quickly?
Yeah.
Let's chat. You rule because you decided to go ahead and buy. You both decided to buy your son his first ever go-kart, and he podiumed in his first race. Now, mind you, I think it was like 5 kids, but the fact that he was faster than 2 others, suck on that, parents. That's awesome. Congrats. You love to see it. I'm sorry that I'm being competitive on behalf of the Morris family, but I figured you'd appreciate that. You and I had talked about this like for quite a while. These conversations date back to like when we first started doing the podcast, that you were like, yeah, when he's old enough, I really want to get him into a go-kart. And I was like, that would be dope, but I know how busy your schedule is. I don't know how you're going to pull it off. You obviously went ahead and, disregarded everything that I thought you were going to do. And you did that. How fun was that, dude?
It was tremendous fun.
Yeah.
I remember I was telling Rochelle, I remember when I was a kid and I was at the kart track with my dad, I would hear other parents talk about how the parents were saying it was more fun for them than the kids they thought.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was more fun for them than if they were racing themselves. And I remember like hearing that and thinking like, whatever, that's just something parents say. No, like
Oh yeah.
it was one of the most satisfying days of my life. Not because like, oh, my kid is racing, but because of how much he loved it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like knowing that he knows that feeling is just
Like when he came off so we show up and understandably he's very nervous.
yeah.
He's a very calculated kid. He's very logical. He's like me when I was little. He gets, very worried about things.
Yeah.
And not so much worried of failing. He
He
was
doesn't know what to expect. And so
and there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of go-karts.
Sure.
It's kind of intense. And we worked through it. He wasn't crying or anything, but he was just, I could tell he was very apprehensive.
Sure.
saying he's like, it's just in my belly. It just
Yeah.
feels
Yep.
weird.
So
Were the other kids his age? Because
Yeah.
R4 is like
Yep.
about he's for anybody who's wondering, Ron's oldest son is 7 going on 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's a young kid and whatnot. So it was like right around the same age.
Yep. All the kids were roughly the same age in his
Okay.
class.
Got it.
It's a little 50cc go-kart, 2 horsepower maybe. I don't actually know what they make, but it's
50 cc's. That's what you drive in Mario Kart as the
Yes,
first.
yeah.
if I'm
That
not
would be
mistaken.
why.
They're actually quite cool. They're quick for a 7-year-old. That's quick, yo.
It is fast. Yes, actually.
It is.
For a 7.
That's fast for us.
Yes. So he goes out for the first practice session and comes back in and is just, electric. Like
Yeah.
the most fun he's ever had in his life. Granted, it's been 7 years of life, but still. Just he's so pumped. Very excited. But then like, okay, so he gets a practice session and the next thing is going to be the race. So he kind of goes, so the way it works is you do 2 heat races and then you do the main
The
race.
feature race.
The feature
for
race.
points, or that's like the
But for kid karts, like they're not necessarily tracking points or anything. It's all just go have fun. But he's like, okay, it's gonna be my first ever race. So he was again like just getting in his head, kind of nervous, not saying I don't want to do it, but I could just tell he was like, I'm not comfortable. And I tell him like, it's, we only want to do what you want to do. And he's like, no, I want to do it. I'll go out. And same thing, he comes back in and he was like, Dad, did you see that? And is telling me all these things. And it's funny how little kids, sometimes he is impressively accurate and descriptive and like, damn, how do you know how to do that? And then also sometimes he's like, yes, you know, like this turn where you turn and then you turn and then you turn,
Yeah.
like that one right there, and it was like, okay, dude, it's just
I have no clue which one he's talking about, but
Yep.
yes.
yeah. So, but I mean, it was freaking awesome, and he finished third in the first two heats and the main race,
Yeah.
but the main race he started catching second.
Oh
Like
man,
Nice.
it was such a good battle.
it was actually really fun to watch.
Oh, it was so fun to watch that because you could see he was finally like locked in. He
Right.
felt some he was like getting comfortable with how it was handling. Uh
I was impressed at his focus level because you could tell he, you know, every time he goes out, he gets better, and even within a given session, he's going faster and faster. And you could tell at it's a 10 lap race, and you can
Mhm.
tell like I don't know by lap 4, he's like, oh, I'm catching second, and then it's like now his laps are 2 seconds faster, like right away. Like he's got he's a dog chasing a rabbit, right?
Yep.
Like he's on the hunt. It was so cool to see that, and he's catching him and catching him and catching him. Didn't make mistakes pushing too hard trying to catch him, which is also
Right.
insane. And then he catches him, and I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna want to pass. He's a pretty risk averse kid, which is good in this case,
Yeah.
thankfully. And so he's behind the cart that's in second place for I don't know maybe 2 laps, and then it's gonna be like 3 laps to go. Like we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So we're not telling him anything, obviously.
I mean,
So
we can't talk to him.
well, yeah, like you could like I don't know. And so he finally tries to make a pass, and I think the other kid didn't know he was there yet, and kind of like didn't leave him. Ronald gets alongside him, exiting a corner, and the other kid kind of starts to track out.
Yep.
Not like being a jerk or anything, just didn't know any better. And so Ronald like kind of panics and spins out.
You say that, but it could have been one of those like, oh, this guy's gonna suck when he's 15. I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it could
Uh,
have been the case. And like, oh, you're gonna be a dick, aren't you?
but he doesn't like full on like spin out, but he like
Right.
drifts it and saves it, and he
Sticks it in
loses.
the grass.
Yeah, but and then hammer down keeps going.
Got himself out.
That's impressive
Yeah.
to be able to go ahead and catch
Yeah.
the cart back at when you're 7. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
the
Yes.
fact that he knew that he had the wherewithal to know, okay, I can catch this. That's impressive.
Yes.
That's really
Yes.
impressive.
Because I
It
could have
was so impressive.
I could have seen him being like, "Oh no, I spun out, I suck," and then just slow down, right? And it couldn't have been more the opposite of that. Of like, dang it, I spun out, I need to get going. And so then like another lap goes by and he catches him again, and this time he tries to pass him on the outside, if I remember right.
Yeah. he
And
was, like,
and kind of like just does like a half spin. I think he just kind of juked himself, worrying that the other kid was gonna almost hit him again.
again,
And that was basically the last lap. So he caught back up to him again, but then we were out of time and he finished third. But I mean, and like he came in and was like, "Dad, did you see that?" And it's just like the time of his life. It was so freaking awesome.
That's
It was
so
so
cool.
Can't wait to go back.
I love that. Well, that's great to know that he's gonna want to go back and whatnot. Like, when's the next race?
It depends
Okay.
on life schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably July. Maybe we might do something in June. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
where we now have all members of the family that are, want to be out on a racetrack.
Yes.
And so it's managing,
Is Reese wanting to go ahead and get on track too?
Oh yeah, he was
Oh,
very
my
jealous. Yes.
Ronald had his very first time. Reese was like, me too, let's go. And I'm like, okay, we gotta launch one at a time here. Let's
Yeah.
get him in it. Let's get him comfortable.
The thing is, my oldest is very, like I said, he's very like he's logical, he's analytical, he's
Right.
risk averse, so he does a good job in something like a go-kart. And Reese could not be the more opposite. He is wide the fuck open. He like
Yes.
just sits in full throttle,
Full commit,
and whatever
full
happens,
send.
happens. Which is like, we need to be a little careful with him. Is all. He's the one who crashed. So I think we maybe talked about this in a previous episode where I hot rodded their power wheels. They have a Corvette C5R power wheels that started out as I think 6 volt, and I
Okay.
made it dual motor 24 volt, and it's freaking fast. It rips, and exactly that. Reese gets in and just full throttle and is like sliding around, drifting. And at first I'm like, damn, that's awesome. And then he's like, oh shit, I'm going fast, and then just full throttle right into a tree, right? So
He wherever he's looking, that's where he's
yes,
gonna go. He
yes,
Yeah.
fixates on that.
he's the
And
kid
he
who crashes
can't.
his bike into a tree, which he has
Yep.
done
Yep.
because of exactly that. So that's the one where I'm like, I don't know if you're ready to get in a go kart yet. We'll
Yeah,
see.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It
Do
is.
not let him take a car when he's 16.
Oh,
Oh
hell
yeah.
yeah.
Do not let him take one of the good cars when he's 16. Don't do it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I have to ask you this because now that you are so invested into your two children and your wife now being track rats, um, who are you? Okay. All right. Let's play a game real quick. We're going to be wrapping it on up soon because I'd like Rechelle and Ron to have it to enjoy the rest of their evening together. Um, but Ron, you are helping Rechelle get better to be a better driver on track. Who professionally are you having her watch so she could go ahead and liken her style to that individual racer? And then we'll
Oh.
who would you use? It can be a Formula One driver, it could be a NASCAR driver, it could be an IndyCar driver, sports car driver.
I got to think about that. That's a very good
Now that you've
question.
seen her style,
Yeah. Uh, I mean, Jensen Button comes to mind. He's, very smooth.
you just saying that because Jensen's
Uh,
Button's been on TT before? Or I'm kidding.
kind of, yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's tough, but that's who comes to mind for sure. Somebody like that.
Interesting. Okay. Is it
Yeah.
because like the way that he used to drive, he had a really interesting style where he used to go ahead and like to understeer into the corners, right?
Uh, yeah, kind of. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
So
know.
is that something that Rechelle likes to go ahead and do on entry or what?
I didn't necessarily mean that specifically, but just
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She was not. Uh, I got to think of how to describe it. She wasn't ham-fisted like with her inputs.
Sure.
She wasn't just yanking the car and getting out of
Yeah, well,
shape.
I think
She was very fast,
I've known
but
Rechelle long enough to note that she is a very indeed patient individual. So I could see patience kind of translating into her driving style. And Jensen
yes,
was a relatively patient driver.
right, right,
He is not aggressive in
right,
when he's on
exactly.
track.
And
So
people. I don't want to confuse that with being slow because that's not
no, no,
at all
no.
what I'm trying to
I
say.
agree.
Uh, but yeah, exactly, something like that. So,
All right. Whereas we could say Reese is very much aggressive.
oh
We could,
yes,
yes.
he's Ken Block. That's right there. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, Colin McRae, whatever, just freaking
There you go. Full send.
sideways and
Oh,
He's a rally driver.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So where does that put Ronald?
Oh, good question. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I thought more like Rochelle, at least at first, but
Sure.
he started putting some send in towards the end. We got to really wait and see what comes of it.
he did. He was saying, we kept telling him, we were like, hey, on the back straight, like go as fast as you can to get down there to that turn.
Yeah. Was
Um,
he not going full throttle or was it
He
just
was
going full
just
throttle too late?
lifting
he
and
would
coasting.
lift really soon. So
Oh,
he'd see
okay.
the turn and those carts are so easy to spin out if you brake too quickly. Like,
Sure.
I mean,
Because
it just
it's
immediately.
just one brake on the rear axle is why. So if you press a brake too hard, it locks up the rear axle.
Yeah, and it
It's
just
like pulling a
like,
V-brake.
spins you. So he was versus getting into the corner and using his brake, he was like, oh, well, if I just let off the gas, because also, his cart is so small. We were saying, like, I think you could just go full throttle through that whole track. Um, but like, obviously, he doesn't have that experience. And honestly, I don't even know if he has the
Strength.
control,
Yeah.
the strength to, turn as he's going at that high of a speed. But he said he was trying to go as fast as he could on the straights, but he said he's like it was getting a little scary, which like you can imagine,
Yeah. For a 7-year-old,
basically
no
sitting
doubt.
on the ground. You've
Yeah.
never had control of a motorized vehicle. And I mean,
Mhm.
he hit like 30 miles per hour.
31 miles an hour was the
Yeah.
fastest that he went.
Yeah.
So
Which
like,
I
That's
can
yeah,
tell
fast.
you, if your ass is half an inch off the ground, 31 miles an hour does feel very fast.
Dude, imagine doing
so
31 miles on a bicycle. Like you're fucking
oh
fucking
my
Yes.
gosh, yes.
yeah, you're flying. You're like,
And now
holy
you're even lower.
smokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Exactly.
moving pretty dang
Yeah.
good. So,
Yeah, that's a moving at a
and that's
fast
where I
clip.
was like, I couldn't have been happier. I'm not
Yeah.
that I'm like, oh, my kid needs to go out and be the fastest and blah blah blah, but just
Mhm.
I was worried that he was going to be too timid, right, and risk
Right.
averse. And
I am
had
curious how
the
he'll do in
adrenaline
this.
hit, like
Yeah.
it was on. So,
I am curious how he'll do in this second race now that he's got that first one
yeah,
under
me
his
too.
belt. He'll probably
Yeah,
feel a
me
lot
too.
more comfortable. So I'm curious if he isn't as timid and gets a little bit, not necessarily more aggressive, but like more comfortable in the sense of
Comfortable.
like, let's not lift as much as we did when we were coming down to the corner. How
Yes.
about we lift less? And then by the
Yes.
time that he's like race 4 or 5, he may not be lifting at all.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I
And
mean?
he is so analytical, you can tell.
Yeah.
More so than so many kids his age, because he was saying like I think it was after the second race. He was like, well, I he like takes a lap to really see, well, what's this kid doing? Where can I pass? Where, like, he's already analyzing where's going to be my spot? Where do I feel like I can pull this off? Which we never even discussed
So he's
that
doing
at
it on his
all.
own. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just like, it came so natural where he was like, I don't know what these kids are doing, because they don't know what they're doing either. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They're all out there not paying attention to each other.
I just love the fact that Ron.
Like,
I just love the fact that Ronald might be like Ronald Verstappen over here if we're like witnessing it in real time. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, great. So this is how Ron, Rechelle, and myself get rich. Like,
that would be nice.
yeah.
Probably not.
Oh gosh, that's so
okay.
cool though. I am so happy that you guys finally got an opportunity to go ahead and put him in, and that he really enjoyed it, and really, and you know, this is literally the translation of Stardom Young. And I love that. That makes me so happy. That is so cool. And congratulations to him again. Like, you know, middle of the pack first go around is pretty freaking tremendous, and he should be really proud of himself. And
Yep.
I remember seeing that, and I was like, yeah, he's about to smoke some fools in the next few weeks. I'm so good for him. You'll love to see it, but well, you know, we'll go ahead and wrap it on up here. You know, I just need to state this one more time, that I really do think that the answer to Rechelle's problems is an E46 track car as opposed to going with a turbo Camaro. I just think it would be great. I think a 320, like an E46 325, 4-door or a 2-door would do wonders. Just saying. Or you can just LS swap an E46 too. You can do that.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, now we're talking. So actually, shout out to my friends over at House of Euro in Tempe and whatnot. My boy Austin, he's drifting. He's got a 5.3 in his Audi S4 as a drift car. And then his teammate Cody, who also works at House of Euro, shout out to Cody, has an E46 with a 5.3 liter V8 swap. And they rip hard.
I believe that.
Yeah, so there you go. So we can just go ahead and get Rechelle on E46 and drop an LS swap and Ron.
Yep.
Yep. More things to not have the 69 Corvette ever done. Hint, hint. This car is never going to be finished ever again. I'm kidding. Unless is there any type of update? He just
I've been working on the C4. I have put tremendous amount of time into the C4 the past 2 months.
Okay, good. Is that when do we expect that to be on the road or on the track at least?
Well, there's a race in Chicago in 3 weeks.
Okay,
I'm trying. I don't know if it'll make it. We'll see. This year, I would think for sure. But
okay, that's progress. Yeah. That's progress, because I think the last couple times that I've asked you on the podcast, it was like we're still a ways out. The fact that we're no longer a far ways out on this car
Yeah.
makes me very
No,
happy.
I mean it's all the major hardware is there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're down to the little nitty gritty crap. That does just take a
Yeah.
while,
It does.
wiring and fire
Matt
suppression
Farah and
system.
Zach Clapman have gone on, excuse me, not Tormenting Tarmac, on their own podcast on Smoking Tire, and they have always said that the first 90% of building a car is the easiest. The hardest part to do is the last
Yeah,
10%. Yeah.
110%. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm in right now. Is
Yes.
that
You are
last
in the 10% bracket.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is so true. So it's just that little crap, and it's so much stuff that you don't think about.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And you know what the funny thing is? We can be super excited that the C4 is going to be done, Rechelle. And then you think, oh, maybe he'll finally get to the C3 and whatnot. No, 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 no. The Caprice is getting a stick shift swapped. So that,
100% yes, exactly correct.
which is true. Like we've talked about that. That's the next project. Oh my God. Either that or Rochelle's new car.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. The Corvette.
famous last words, but I think thankfully the stick shift swap wouldn't be too crazy, but
I don't
still,
think it would be. Yeah. I mean,
no.
it's little as makes no difference. Like a Chevy SS or, just finding,
Yeah.
honestly, just going to a junkyard and finding a Tremec from an old.
So I already have a lot of the parts. I say that I have the T56 Magnum, but that's what I had in the C3.
Correct. Yeah. So the C3 is
Realistically,
getting
it's
its
going to
own
be a while.
T56.
Yeah, that's C3. So I'm just going to put that T56 in the Caprice. I have the clutchless flywheel already. I have the Camaro clutch pedal and pedal assembly and all that. That bolts right up. So the only part that I don't have is a drive shaft, which I can't have until I put the transmission in and measure how long it needs to be. And a shifter I need to figure out. And that's it. So
Basically,
I'd love to. Basically,
at this point, it's
yeah,
Legos
it's
for
really it's really just logistics at this point, guys. Come on now. I am curious to see what style shifter you put on.
like,
I
what
don't
do
think
you
you
mean?
should do like a normal cue ball shifter. I think it should be like you remember. But I also don't want a T handle either. I don't want that. I think that's way too bro. Um, what if we could do one of two things? We could do very similar to I can't remember what car. Oh, you remember the old Shelby? Remember Eleanor from
Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds, where it's like a long gooseneck, but like it kind of like it goes to the side and then shoots up.
Yeah.
Very similar to like OG, like 1969, 1970 Challenger. You could do that. That would be cool. Or if memory serves me right, like old OG SN95 Mustang Roushes had the long shifter that kind of like just kind of went back like this.
Mm-hmm.
You could do something like that. But if my thing is that I believe that you plan on tracking the Caprice with the stick with the when you do the manual swap.
Yes.
So I feel like that actually would be very uncomfortable, both of those. So it might actually be better if you just probably just do a normal Camaro stick shift setup.
We'll figure something neat out. I mean, if
Yeah.
the shifter, we'll figure something out.
I know. I was just trying to not be boring, but it might have to be
I mean,
boring
I
for
hear
the
you. I'm
purposes
not
of
going to
yeah.
just put a generic shift knob on it, I guess.
Or actually, you could do like a generic shift knob, and then people are like, "Oh, what is this?" And all of a sudden, you go out there and you're like, "I am God," and you just like you're like, "Rat, rat." You could do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but dude, I don't know if you saw this video, and we'll end it right here. There was this one dude. This went viral like a month and a half or 2 months ago. It's that dude in his like I think he's talking about like in a Chevy Sonic, where he talks about like he did his oil change with like premium oil, and then he does like an aftermarket oil filter, and then he talks about he put like an ounce worth of jet fuel and whatnot. This is like one dude who's like a real meth head, you can tell, and like yeah, and then he's talking about like he's street racing. I'm sure, Rechelle, have you seen this video?
I have seen this. Yes.
Oh, wow. As you said,
Dude, you are missing out. I need you to watch this video. It is amazing because he's like talking about like catching up with the Chrysler 300 or something like that. And then
Because
he's
that's an
talking.
accomplishment.
Dude, and he's talking about like it's the fastest fucking like, he's at a car dealership. He's like at a used car dealership, and he's like, the car salesman is showing him like a really, really basic car, and then the guy is like, the funny thing is, I smoked one of these earlier on
Yeah,
when
that
I
was
was on my way over to
exactly.
this dealership, and I'm like, my brother in Christ, that's not something to be happy about. What? But he's
But
so
on some
happy.
level, you wanted it to be true for him. Like you were
You
just like,
did. You know what, bro? You know what? That did happen. That did happen. And I'm glad it did. And I'm glad that you caught up in I'm glad that you only went from like 400 yards to 150 yards. Good on you, bro. Good on you. That's such a good way to end this podcast. Ladies and gents, Ron's Instagram is hounds.and.horsepower. He is always doing his best to try and put updates of what he's doing with his projects, whether that be the Caprice, whether it be finishing up the C4, his Champ Race series that he does with Dylan. Shout out to the Wittenauers, and them with oh my god,
The mini.
Grover. Yep.
mini.
Grover the mini.
What?
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Which again, if you are interested in champ racing and you want a front wheel drive setup, a Mini Cooper from the mid 2000s, also the way to go. And then additionally, apparently we're going to go ahead and get a chance to see Rechelle behind the wheel, so that we'll see more updates on that. Hopefully it's an E46 BMW, but if we go Camaro, can we just say if we find one within a reasonable price, why not go for a V8? I'm just saying.
If it's a track capable car, you are 100% correct.
I mean, saying that a Camaro SS is not a track capable car is saying like the sky isn't
That's
blue,
fair.
Ronald.
Touche.
But like,
Noted.
I mean, he thought
Noted.
green was red, so
Well,
yeah. Great callback, Rechelle. Great callback. Rechelle, if you want to go ahead and give out your IG handle and stuff like that, I know you're always just having fun with you and the kids and everything like that, but I'll let you give it out if you want to.
yeah, just home with hounds.
Yeah, these guys really like hounds. They like their hound dogs.
That's the Beagle. I should have brought it
Yep.
over here, but
That's actually there's my shirt right there. Shout out
Yes.
to Ron's racing team. The Ron and
Hound
Rechelle
Dog
went ahead and sent me
Motorsports.
this. Yeah, Hound Dog Motorsports. And then shout out to my Coda hat, which Ron went ahead and sent me a few months back, and I didn't realize that he sent me until I opened the box. Yeah, shout out to Gus.
They're my
Love to see it.
mascot. I don't know if
Yep.
that's showing up so.
But shout out to Ron. He went to Coda like about a year ago, gets this hat, sends it to me, doesn't tell me. And then all of a sudden I have this package that I don't open for like 2 months because I didn't realize I even had a package. Natalie just puts it at my desk. And I look and it says to Jorge Aquino Rodriguez, and it's from Ron Morris. I was like, Ron sent me something? Like, usually Ron and Rechelle send me Christmas cards and it's always beautiful. And I appreciate you guys. I love you too. And I go ahead and I open my box and I'm like, oh shit, it's a Coda hat. Like, that's so sick. I called Ron. I was like, yo, Ron, I don't know how long ago you sent me this, buddy, but I've got my hat. He's like, oh, that's sick, bro. I totally forgot I even sent that to you.
Yep.
I go over to Natalie and I was like, Natalie, did you forget to tell me that Ron sent me a package? And she's like, oh yeah, he sent it to you like 5 weeks ago. I'm like, that's awesome. Thank you so very much to my beautiful wife. Oh God. Anyways, so that's my Coda hat there and whatnot. But to anybody else that's listening, we do sincerely appreciate you taking the time to listen to this wonderful podcast this evening and us taking it back a little bit, with Ron, coming to the podcast that he helped start and get to where it has gotten to today, which I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for believing in what I was trying to go ahead and do. And you have been a staunch supporter. Thank you for letting me take it to where I've gotten to where it is today. And hopefully I have not gone ahead and completely shit on it on our original idea, which I don't think I have. I think I've done okay.
Come on, man.
No.
We've done well. We've done well enough that Zach Clapman shouted us out on the Smoking Tire podcast along with Matt Farah.
I've really been enjoying watching it. Yes.
Yeah. So it's been a real treat. So I appreciate it. But you can go ahead and, of course, find us at Tormenting Tarmac on Instagram, and you can go ahead and find us streaming on Spotify and Apple and all those places. And then we'll probably go ahead and put this one up on YouTube as well. But for now, this has been, I believe, the 194th installment of Tormenting Tarmac. That's Ron Morris, his lovely wife, Rechelle. My name is Jorge Aquino. It's Tormenting Tarmac. It's a podcast where the enthusiast never dies. Good night, everybody.